In the quiet village of Oakridge, whispers of a hidden treasure had circulated for generations. Tales of pirates who had buried their ill-gotten gains in the surrounding woods were passed down, each retelling adding layers of mystery and allure. One summer, a group of 5 friends, drawn together by the promise of adventure, decided to uncover the truth behind the legend. Emily, the de facto leader, had found an old, tattered map in her grandfather's attic. The map, marked with cryptic symbols and faded ink, seemed to point to a specific location deep within the forest. As dusk fell, they set out, equipped with flashlights, shovels, and a sense of excitement tinged with apprehension. The forest, dense and silent, seemed to close in around them. The further they ventured, the more the shadows seemed to move and whisper, playing tricks on their minds. Hours passed, and just as they were about to give up, Emily's flashlight beam caught a glint of metal among the roots of an ancient oak tree. Excitement surged through the group as they began to dig. The earth was stubborn, but their determination was stronger. Finally, they unearthed a large, rusted chest. Its lock, fragile with age, broke easily under the force of their tools. As they lifted the lid, the stench of decay hit them, making them recoil. Inside, they found gold coins, jewels, and bones. Human bones. Suddenly, a cold wind swept through the clearing, and the forest seemed to come alive with sinister intent. The friends felt an oppressive presence, as if the very air was watching them. Shadows danced and twisted in unnatural ways, and the temperature dropped sharply. Emily, clutching a gold coin, felt a searing pain in her hand. Dropping the coin, she saw a deep, festering wound where it had touched her skin. Panic set in as the others realized they, too, were marked with similar wounds. Desperation overtook them as they tried to flee, but the forest paths had changed, twisting and turning in impossible ways. The once familiar woods were now a labyrinth of terror. The oppressive presence grew stronger, whispers turning into guttural growls. One by one, the friends were separated, their screams echoing through the forest. Emily, now alone and terrified, stumbled upon an old, abandoned cabin. Hoping for refuge, she entered, only to find the walls covered in strange symbols and the air thick with malevolence. In the center of the room stood a figure, shrouded in darkness, its eyes glowing with a malevolent light. The figure raised a skeletal hand, and Emily felt her body freeze, her screams silenced by an unseen force. The last thing she saw before darkness claimed her was the figure's mouth, twisting into a grotesque smile. The villagers of Oakridge never saw the 5 friends again. The forest, once a place of childhood adventure, became a forbidden zone, its secrets buried deep within the shadows. And the legend of the hidden treasure continued to grow, a cautionary tale of greed, fear, and the unknown horrors that lurk in the dark. Years passed, and the legend of Oakridge's hidden treasure became a ghost story told around campfires, a warning to those who dared to seek fortune in the cursed forest. Despite the disappearances, the allure of the treasure remained, a siren call to the curious and the greedy. Among those drawn to the legend was Daniel, an ambitious historian with a penchant for solving ancient mysteries. He had heard the stories and seen the fear in the villagers' eyes, but he was determined to uncover the truth. Equipped with modern technology and a healthy dose of skepticism, Daniel set out to Oakridge with a group of fellow researchers. They arrived at the village, and though the locals warned them, they were undeterred. The group consisted of Daniel, his colleague Rebecca, a tech expert named Jason, a survivalist named Sarah, and a folklore specialist named Mark. Each had their own reason for joining the expedition, but they all shared a common goal to find the hidden treasure and unravel the mystery of the forest. On the first day, they scoured the village for clues, interviewing the elderly who still remembered the last expedition. Daniel managed to obtain Emily's map, preserved by her distraught family as a grim memento. The map, combined with their advanced equipment, gave them a sense of confidence as they ventured into the forest at dawn. The forest, however, was as foreboding as the legends described. The group felt the weight of the ancient trees and the oppressive silence that seemed to swallow their voices. As they moved deeper, the forest's malevolence became palpable, an unspoken presence that watched and waited. Despite their unease, they pressed on, following the map's cryptic directions. As twilight descended, they found the old oak tree where Emily's group had discovered the chest. The ground bore no signs of the previous disturbance, as if the forest had healed its scars. They set up camp for the night, but sleep was elusive. Strange sounds echoed through the trees, and shadows seemed to creep closer to the flickering firelight. In the early hours of the morning, a blood-curdling scream tore through the silence. Jason, who had been on watch, was gone, his equipment scattered and his flashlight still rolling on the ground. Panic set in, but Daniel urged them to stay calm. They had to find Jason and solve the mystery that had haunted Oakridge for generations. Rebecca managed to pick up a faint signal from Jason's radio, leading them deeper into the forest. As dawn broke, they stumbled upon the abandoned cabin Emily had found. The air was thick with dread as they entered, the strange symbols on the walls glowing faintly in the morning light. In the center of the room, they found Jason, unconscious and marked with the same festering wounds that had afflicted Emily's group. A guttural growl echoed through the cabin, and the temperature plummeted. The skeletal figure emerged from the shadows, its eyes burning with malevolence. Daniel felt an icy hand grip his heart as the figure spoke in a voice that seemed to resonate from the depths of the earth. "You have disturbed my domain. You seek the treasure, but it is not gold and jewels you will find. It is your doom." The figure raised its hand, and the symbols on the walls blazed with an eerie light. The group felt an overwhelming force pulling them apart, each thrown into a different part of the forest. Daniel, disoriented and terrified, tried to find his bearings. He stumbled upon a cave, its entrance hidden by thick vines and underbrush. Inside the cave, he found an altar covered in ancient runes. Atop the altar lay a book, bound in leather and etched with the same symbols. As Daniel reached for the book, the ground trembled, and the air grew thick with an ancient, oppressive power. He realized that the treasure was not the gold and jewels they had expected but the book, a repository of dark knowledge and power. The skeletal figure appeared once more, its presence filling the cave with darkness. "You have found the heart of the curse," it whispered. "Now you must pay the price." With a surge of courage, Daniel grabbed the book and bolted from the cave, determined to end the curse once and for all. The forest roared in anger, the trees twisting and the ground shaking, but Daniel did not stop. He raced back to the village, the book clutched tightly in his hands. As he reached the outskirts of Oakridge, the forest fell silent, the oppressive presence lifting as if repelled by the village's boundary. The villagers, seeing him return with the book, gathered around, their faces a mixture of fear and hope. Daniel, breathless and shaking, explained what he had discovered. The village elders, recognizing the symbols, began to chant ancient incantations, a ritual passed down through generations. The book glowed with a dark light before disintegrating into ash, the curse broken at last. The forest, now freed from its malevolent grip, seemed to sigh in relief. The air grew warmer, and the shadows receded. The legend of the hidden treasure became a story of caution and redemption, a reminder of the darkness that greed and curiosity can awaken. Daniel and his team, though scarred by their ordeal, became heroes in Oakridge, their bravery and determination ensuring that the curse would never threaten the village again. And the forest, once a place of terror, slowly returned to its natural state, a sanctuary of peace and mystery, its secrets finally laid to rest.